Hey there, Matt Clark here, and I have a special guest here. So Nate actually used to be a former high school teacher and has now built $1 million business selling on Amazon. So I'd love to just, first off, just welcome. Thank you very much for joining us.
Yeah, thanks a lot. Glad to be here.
Yeah, awesome. So I kind of want to get into Nate's story and also get some of his advice. Find out, what's really set you apart in your business versus, other people that haven't been as successful, kind of given the same opportunities. So I guess to start off, let's just talk about, how did you get started in this business?
Yeah, it's interesting. I was actually writing ebooks and selling them on Amazon, and so I recognized and realized that Amazon's a powerful platform, and I learned about opportunities to sell physical products and realized I could be making a lot more money, and the margin was a lot better if I was doing physical products. So I jumped into that game in 2014. Started selling physical products and been doing that ever since. It's been awesome.
And so did you start off, kind of the model we teach is creating your own brands. And so is that the model you started off with on Amazon when you started doing physical products?
Yeah, I did. Yeah, I followed that model, private labeling, creating my own brand. And branding was kind of a big piece for us specifically, and something we really, took a lot of effort to do on the front end for sure.
Okay, and then so did you start with just one product or?
Yeah, just one product, and a really simple product, just something we would, people use kind of every day, and never thought I would know anything about this type of a product, but have obviously learned a lot about it now as it's been successful.
Okay, so you go from, you're teaching at a high school and you start selling some Kindle books, I guess, ebooks, and it's, going okay, but not really going that great. I think you were saying earlier you're making like $1 a book or something like that, and then you're like, I'm gonna have a lot better margins if I do this, physical products thing. So you create this physical products business, but you had never done this kind of business before, right?
No, never. Yeah, hadn't sold any physical products. Certainly had never sourced products or, kind of done a private label thing at all. I had sold a few T-shirts in sort of a side hobby business, but nothing real.
And so, like, not having done this before, like, how did the whole sourcing process? A lot of times people get scared. How do I handle customs? Like, how does the product get from here to there? Like, how did that whole process kind of work out for you the first time around?
It really wasn't as difficult as I thought it was going to be. I think maybe some of my story, my dad had been in a business where he had traveled overseas quite a few times and had interacted in that sort of a way. And so I had a little bit of an experience from a distance, but I've also traveled the world pretty extensively. And so to me, it was just kind of fun, like an opportunity to engage with people in other cultures, and I enjoyed it. So it wasn't that big of a deal, really.
Okay, and you source your products from China?
Yeah, we source them from China, all of them.
Okay, and so did you have to use like a freight forwarder or?
Yeah, we did. I kind of did it maybe a little different way, which I think can work for some people. So I did it like most people. I went to Alibaba or 1080 or a site like that. Yep. Found somebody that, my criteria was like, does this person speak English well enough? And will they respond in like a decent amount of time? Those were kind of the two things I cared about. So I found this lady and had a great interaction and sourced our first product. And then I just went back to her after we had ordered several rounds of inventory and said, what would it look like for you just to kind of be my sourcing agent only exclusively? So I basically just hired her on a kind of a commission piece, but I said, I just want you to be available for what I'm doing. And I gave her enough business, and we just built that relationship. So even when I went over to China, she traveled with me to like the factories where we produce things, and we kind of have like a family type relationship. It's pretty cool.
And she still works with you today, I guess.
Yeah, she does. Yeah, it's pretty wild. I even took my parents over
to China?
To China because my dad had, I had learned like that familial type conversation is important in China. So they were blown away that I would like sort of honor and bring my parents with me. And I think that actually helped our relationship with our manufacturers, even to this day. Yeah. One of our manufacturers actually flew to our house.
Oh, wow. Yeah.
They came and visited with us. And it's been cool.
Yeah, because we tell people, you don't have to like go over to China. That's not like an essential part of this thing. But it is interesting because like some people do decide to go. Maybe it's like 30% of the people decide that they want to kind of make the venture over there. They want to see what it's all about. Like, why did you decide like you thought that would be useful?
Well, I mean, one is I love to travel. I had never been to China. We went to the Canton Fair. We thought that would be fun, so we did that. But I also thought it would be useful because I cared about our product and the quality of it. And so I think because our main product had become so successful, I said I really want to lock in this quality control piece, and so just decided to visit and make sure that what was getting produced and the environment and everything was what we valued, and it was. So that was a good thing.
Okay, cool. So when you first started this business, like how much did you start with an inventory in terms of like number of units, and also like how much did it cost?
Yeah, I just ordered 400 units, and it was $2,000, and that included the shipping.
Yep.
You know, and nervous like everybody at the beginning, like, is this going to work? And so when I first started selling, it was like December 2nd of 2014 was our first sale on Amazon, and I only had 400 units. We sold out in like 4 days, and I didn't have quite enough guts to order more than 400, so I just ordered 400 more again. And I did that 3 times before I had enough like gusto to order some more. So
you said you sold out your first 400 units in 4 days?
Yeah.
Like, why do you think that happened? Like, because that's insane. That's not normal at all.
Yeah. Well, I've thought about that a lot. Like, what was this? Did we just kind of get lucky? Did we, have the right product? I think it was a few factors, but I mentioned it a little bit ago, but one thing is the branding piece. So in my niche specifically, I'm in the sports and outdoors world. I went and hired a creative designer who had worked at some ski resorts in Vail and different places in Colorado where I live, and was kind of a bit of an expert, or had some expertise in the design world and what it felt and the vibe and that kind of thing. And that was important for our brand. So right from the beginning, we tried to establish ourselves as a high-end brand. And it was reflected in everything that we did, including our pricing and all of that. So I think that was part of it. Like, it felt authentic, it was in the right space, and for us, that was a strategy that worked at the beginning, and we made some front-end investment in that.
So I find this kind of interesting because, like, you said you basically bought like $2,000 worth of inventory. You're nervous. You buy 400 units, and it's a decent amount of money to kind of outlay. You don't know if it's going to come back. But on the other hand, like, you thought it was a good use of money to go hire this person from China, and then you're also hiring this creative person that used to work at fancy resort and stuff like that.
Yeah.
So what are you thinking? Like, how did that work out financially and stuff? Like, because you don't want to spend a ton on inventory, but then you're also willing to devote some money, I guess, to these other kind of people to help you grow the business. Like, what were you kind of thinking there?
Yeah, it's a good question. The part where we hired the lady in China didn't really happen until a few months down the road.
Oh, okay.
So after we had kind of established that relationship and made several rounds of orders, the creative designer was somebody that I had done some work with in some other areas of business before, and I kind of knew him. He was at the location where I lived, in my city, and so tapped into that and kind of said, hey, I think this would be valuable on the front end, and we were able to work together. We kind of had some relationship there, so really just tapped into some of the network that I already had, and thought this is important because I knew the space I was entering, and I wanted it to be good from the beginning. So I've kind of viewed this business as like a really long-term idea from the beginning, and by long-term I mean a few years, but not something where I was trying to like get rich quick or anything like that. I was trying to build a real asset. So to me, the brand was important at the beginning.
Okay, cool.
Yeah.
And so then, you basically got your inventory, it started selling pretty quickly, which is awesome. And then, where did you kind of go from there? Like, what did you do to kind of scale your business up? Did you add more products, do more marketing? Like, how did that kind of like growth process work?
A lot by trial and error, but I just getting familiar with the process, and I think that's for people that are looking for an opportunity like this, a lot of it's just about getting in the experience, and you have that experience, you realize, oh, this works. So I mentioned I bought 400 units 3 times, and then I bought 1,200, and then then we ramped up pretty fast. Then we bought like 10,000 units, and we were shipping it by boat and all that kind of thing, and talking to freight forwarders. So I think just getting in the experience and recognizing this is real and it works. And then having the confidence to pull the trigger on bigger ideas. Yep.
And then today, because I guess you say you started business in 2014, is that right?
Yeah, right at the end of 2014.
Okay, so then here we are, 2018, so 3+ years later, because you started at the end of 2014. So nowadays, like, how many products do you have in your brand?
Well, we have about 15,
okay.
About that range, and we're actually thinking about scaling a few of those back and really targeting kind of our main ones, and then really reproducing our best brands in some other Amazon markets where we've kind of done some small test research to know that they'll do well there too.
Yeah, it's so crazy. It seems to be like the same thing that everyone does is they get a product working, and they'll, it'll be great. I'm gonna add all kinds of new products.
Yeah.
And then like pretty much everyone's story is always like, that probably wasn't such a good idea. Like maybe we can get rid of a few of those products.
Right. You should have told me that.
Yeah, no, I actually told myself that multiple times.
Yeah.
So then what really worked well for you from like a marketing standpoint? Maybe kind of like two parts. Like one is like when you were ramping up, because a lot of stuff changes on Amazon, I get it. So like what was most effective for you then, like tactical Amazon kind of stuff?
Yeah.
And then what's working best for you right now?
Yeah, for us, the number one thing was Amazon ads was for sure at the beginning. It was our number one way to build revenue. We were basically, spending 10 cents and making $1 kind of thing. And it was a great return. So that has consistently been a thread through everything we've done. In the last couple of years, we've utilized social media quite a bit. So we've built a pretty good following on Facebook and Instagram specifically are kind of the two things that we target the most. It's been a nice supplement to what we're doing. But Amazon ads has really been like the thing that's been stable for us kind of the whole time.
And what do you think? Do you think there's anything you do different with Amazon ads than other people do?
Not necessarily. I mean, we've certainly learned a lot about it. So we've targeted it, and by trial and error, we've kind of narrowed down a few things in that. But overall, it's just the power of what Amazon provides, and the traffic that they're bringing that somehow as third-party sellers we get to tap into, which is a pretty amazing opportunity when you think about it, every day.
Yeah, cool. So, you've built this business pretty quickly. You do about $1 million a year right now. And so with this business, you were a high school teacher. I guess you're not anymore. How is your life different now that you have this business than before?
Yeah, it's a great question. I've always loved the idea of having freedom to do the things that we love. I really value spending time with my family. My wife and I have 4 children, and so it's a big piece of who we are. So I get to spend a lot of time with our family. We love doing wild adventures. We were just in Maui a few weeks ago together, and so much fun creating memories in that way. And then I get to volunteer about 30 hours a week, so I help coach soccer teams, and I volunteer, pastor at a church, and just getting to be involved in my community and in my family is something that has, for me, as I look back at the opportunity and what I've done in this business, I'm the most grateful for those two things.
Okay, great. That's awesome. So, we didn't want this to be kind of a testimonial for ASM or any of that kind of stuff. We just kind of wanted people to hear your story, but we know you are, a member of ASM. You're passionate about ASM.
Yeah.
So if you don't mind, people that are kind of considering, what is Amazing Selling Machine? Is this thing actually worth it? Just kind of give your completely, kind of unbiased opinion on what you think about ASM.
Yeah, I will say this, I'm so grateful that I did it, in ASM 4. I heard about it in ASM 2. Didn't pull the trigger for 2 times and kick myself, even still thinking about, I should have done it earlier. Yeah. But so grateful for the opportunity to not only have the financial freedom, but really it's just the lifestyle freedom, which is more important to me, and being able to do that. So I've become a pretty big advocate of ASM. Yep. I've gathered a lot of friends that are a part of it now. I think over 100 people that have joined because I've shared my testimony and just shared what's going on with my life, and so to me, I want as many people as involved as I can who are my friends and my family, because I want them to have the experience and the dreams of what they want to do in the same way that I have.
That's a really interesting point, because a lot of times we get this question a lot. We've been kind of sharing this opportunity for years now, and a lot of times people are like, because we'll tell them that it's really good, and we'll say how Amazon's growing and this business model's great and there's product opportunities, but then a lot of times they're like, if it's so great, then why would you tell anybody about it? And it's kind of a hard answer to get across, but yeah, here you are, you've built this business that's relatively new. One hand, some people could have kind of scarcity mindset, and they're like, I got my $1 million a year business, I'm not telling anybody about this because I don't want any competitors, but you seem to have completely different mindset.
I think what I experienced when I first joined ASM was a culture of, we want people to succeed, and why would we not tell other people? I think that's the culture I heard from you. Yep. And some of the other people in ASM. It was this real, I describe it to people it's this real interesting, nobody will share their product, but everyone will share their new strategies or what's going on. So there's this great give back culture that I've appreciated. And one of the reasons that I've recommended people to be a part of not just this business opportunity, but really a network of people that are kind of living in a way that I enjoy in that give back lifestyle. So that's why I recommend it, because I think it's the business model, the tactics, the system, like all that is phenomenal, but there's also a community piece that brings a really rich experience to the things that I personally value in life.
Awesome, really cool. Yeah, I appreciate it. Yeah, thanks a lot for sharing all this, Nate. I know you don't have to do any of this, and you got your business to run and family and everything, but yeah, I appreciate you being here.
Yeah, you're welcome. Thanks.
Yeah, so thanks everyone for watching. You know, if you click the link below, you can actually get access to a free video training series, lots of free bonuses and everything. If you're interested in building this kind of business, you know, like Nate has and how we've taught a lot of other people. But either way, thanks for watching. If you want to check that out, click the link below, and we'll see you soon.